how do you structure your goals? Like, how do you define what your next goal is going to be?
Breaking stuff down into micro goals. If your goal is go to Mars, there's probably some things you need to do before that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a bit hard for me to kind of set my goals. Like, I don't really... That's one thing I've kind of been struggling with, like how to actually properly set them.
What's up, legends? Welcome to the Demo Cast. I'm Jack, here with my co-host Alex. What's going on, man?
Mate, just keeping it alive.
So good. So we have Casey here today. Casey's a connoisseur of all things fashion, fitness, and mental health. What's going on, Casey? Good to have you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No, it's good to finally get you on. Good for been talking about having you here for a bit to have a bit of a chat and speak about multiple things. Pardon me. The thing I want to try and kick it off with both of you today is goals. How are you staying on track with your goals? What are your goals? And how are you keeping your head above water when shit starts to hit the fan and it feels like you're not making any progression? Just throw stuff out here. Because I feel like when it starts to come out, your brain sort of just dumps things. You start here, then you start worrying about this or thinking about that. Like, I know you might have a fair bit on this, Jack.
I feel like I'm in a bit of a weird spot with goals at the moment where I don't know if I have anything super particular at the moment. I feel like I've already kind of ticked a lot of boxes, which is obviously a good problem to have.
Yep, absolutely.
But I feel like I've kind of ticked a lot of boxes this year.
Yeah.
And
it's hard.
I'm a little bit in limbo with it at the moment. I kind of got to refocus a little bit, I think.
It's hard when you have such a large goal and that kind of, you tick that off and then where do you go from there? Like my last was with you was deadlift at the gym was my last physical goal. And now I've hit that. I sort of gym sort of dropped off a little bit on the
I feel like there's almost a bit of a hangover, hey.
Exactly. What are you doing here? What about you? Where are you sitting with your goals and what are you driving for?
Yeah, I'm very similar to Jack's situation, but I think for me it's just sticking to, as cliche as it is, those 1% things every day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's just doing the little things every single day. Just making all of them habits every single day.
Yep.
So then when the bigger goals do eventually come, it's easier for me to
You're kind of ready for it. You're not starting from rock bottom, I guess.
Yeah. So I think maybe the goal you could say is just discipline.
Yeah.
It's just to be disciplined in every form of life, really.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you handle when that discipline slips? Because I'm a bit of I'll be straight up for it. God, do I become a bit of a shitstorm when it starts to dip, and it'll dip so far without me even realizing sometimes that it's all sort of dropped out, and sometimes it'll be a passing comment from mates or little things I'll notice, just little things about self-care. I've slipped on it. And I'm oh shit, maybe that's and then weirdly the make your bed sort of thing. Mine's cutting my nails. I'll look down and be like, fuck, my nails look horrible. I'll cut them, and then all of a sudden I have the energy to do everything. I have no idea
your
where
life's
that
back together all of a sudden.
It's wild, man, wild. But do you have any weird rituals that you see trigger either the slip or the incline of goals and discipline?
Shaving.
Right?
Yeah, shaving.
Sure.
Keeping everything shaved. I notice when I don't shave is when I'm probably the most depressed. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
And I think that's a good indicator for people around me to really know where I am mentally.
How's it sitting
as well? I've told a couple of people, if you're ever wondering where I am, look at how hairy I am.
Yeah, okay, right. Interesting.
Because if I'm super hairy, then, okay, there's something wrong.
Yeah, something's occupying your mind at that point.
Because, I like to be shaved. Especially when I go to the gym, it's in my arm veins, and leg veins. I just like to be shaved.
Yeah.
This is probably the most hairy I'll be. I shaved my arms, for example, this morning. But sometimes I'll let the chest hair grow out because I like that look,
that's fine.
But even my face, I'll get a little bit messy, and I think hair is huge. Body hair, facial hair.
Yeah, interesting.
I think that's a way for me to know I'm slipping.
Yep.
And then once that's done, it's oh, okay. I got my motivation again to go and train.
Yep.
And then all the other little things will kick in again.
Yeah.
It's all right, well, let's
those
focus on
1%ers.
Then I'll just start focusing on the gym fits.
Yeah.
And then what I'm training that day. And then if I like what I'm wearing that day, the gym.
Yeah.
The actual effort in the gym goes up. And I'm I'll wear certain shirts for certain exercise. I'm my chest looks good. And then it helps me mentally. And I'm fuck yeah, right.
On a looking good, feeling good sort of aspect for it,
And then if I'm if I don't have many smells at home, no colognes or body washes or sprays.
Yep.
if I feel like I smell, not that I'm a smelly person, but I like to.
You should be in a
I
car
like-
after a ride on Wednesday with Jack and I if you want smelly people.
Oh,
No, but
Oh,
I just
Jesus.
like to smell good everywhere I go. Like one thing at work is they're like, oh, we know when you're here
Yeah.
because we can smell you before we hear you.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, were you just down
that could be good or bad.
Yeah, that's on the fence of
Oh, yeah,
it.
well, that's what I'm saying, like, in a good way, right? And they're like, of course. I'm
Yeah.
like, because I do drop some bombs down
Yeah.
those lanes. Like, I've got to keep a little fan with me, and I'm just like, make sure no one's around. But they're like, were you just down aisle B? And I was like, I'm in the next shed doing my own thing. I was like, yeah, maybe like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, I swear you were just there because I can smell you every
Still
day.
smell you.
100%. Something that I commented on today as soon as you walked in. I was like, man, it smells good.
Yeah,
Like,
I just feel like smelling good.
Yeah.
It's one of those ways to leave a mark on somebody,
Yeah.
For sure.
male or female, no matter where you go.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
That guy smells good. Like,
Yeah.
remember that Casey guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
He smelled
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And then it's like, he also dresses really good.
It's one of those like it's either real good or real bad. Hey? Yeah.
I've never gotten the real bad.
Yeah.
I've never ever gotten the real bad.
I have after a healthy amount of dairy before
Yeah.
lactose kicking in. But I feel like it's very very structure. Like you know, like you're shaving your structure, your smells, your structure, like all that. Your structure and your like building blocks for foundation sort of comes from that before you can really push yourself to achieve a goal and so on from that. Do you have like a structure, Jack, that you sort of follow or?
I for sure can relate to like the shaving one.
Yep.
That's like not that I can grow very much facial hair, but
Killer moustache, but that needs to come back.
but yeah, for sure. Like if because it gets like so scraggly and shit, like when it
So
grows
shit.
out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good indicator of
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at. But also I can relate to like the fits thing as well. Like if I feel like shit, I'm gonna dress like shit.
Yeah.
And I guess like the opposite as well. Like kind of
Yeah.
dressing good. Like I always feel the most productive. Like
When you vibe and you fit.
when I'm dressed good.
Yep.
Weirdly can't be productive without shoes on.
Interesting. I'm not shy of a dogs out production.
Nah.
Hey,
Well, yeah, as we've realized.
love it.
Yeah.
I was at work today doing like machining in the dogs out, man, and there was like little metal chips flying everywhere, just burning the dogs.
It's weird you say that though, because I've noticed like the last month or so, even like late at night, I'll be at home and I'll chuck on like my other Birks,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm in this
Ready to
mood
go.
to
Yeah.
get shit done.
Yeah.
I've heard that like if you want to be productive at home, don't take your shoes off when you get like when you come back from work. If you got shit to do, leave
Yeah.
your shoes on.
Yeah.
But
As
I
soon as
have
the
a-
shoes are off, you're chilling.
It's done.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I have a weird. I just like. I like house shoes too.
Yeah.
Like when I was living by myself, like my little slippers I had. Like
Yeah.
I like wearing my slippers and my shit. Like
I've got to take the shoes off when I walk in, hey. And like that comes from growing up in messy fucking houses, man. That like when I moved out, I was like, my house, my rules now. And I'm setting it, no shoes in the house, dude, hey. And like growing up on a farm, you're walking just everything through the place, hey. So like that was a thing off. So that's sort of like my structure. Like for me, obviously, you know, I don't give a shit for anyone else, but my thing is I'll have like a bag. I'll be carrying the shopping and I'll be kicking shoes off at the door before I walk in. It's now just like embedded in me to do it.
Oh, I've kept these on just so it's aesthetically pleasing for Jack.
Yeah, no, that's the white on
Yeah,
white.
yeah.
Yeah, I noticed Jack's on the black sock today.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. How do you, if you're so happy to kick on, just because my brain just ticks over, and I had this lined up from like 8 answers ago. How do you structure your goals? Like, how do you define what your next goal is going to be?
I love writing shit down. Even if it's in my phone, I have a bit of a like dashboard on my phone where I'll chuck stuff. I think that's a big one for me, and kind of like breaking stuff down into micro goals where like obviously have like a bigger vision, which is great, but like how do you, if your goal is go to Mars, there's probably some things you need to do before that.
Absolutely.
So I think kind of breaking stuff down into micro goals of like what actions can I take today, tomorrow, every week, like what I try and set up like reoccurring like tasks in my phone as much as I can to like if I hit these every week, then that's moving me towards whatever the vision is, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I've been a bit. It's a bit hard for me to kind of set my goals. Like I don't really. That's one thing I've kind of been struggling with, like how to actually properly set them.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit hard with like fitness and stuff. There's obviously like weights and stuff that you might have in mind, but as far as physique goes, I think it's kind of hard.
Ooh, yeah,
because that's the thing that I'm kind of dealing with at the moment, where I've hit my weight target.
Yeah,
but I'm like, right, well now I want to start doing like some calisthenic stuff, and like my big thing for me is like my chest is super flat, so I'm like, I want to, that's like the main visual thing for me that I want to work on.
We'll make it grow,
but
oh boy,
like there's kind of no numbers to it, you know what I mean? Like unless you're taking measurements and like, which is a bit hardcore, but it's, I find that a little bit hard to, and for that reason I haven't started on anything, because I'm like, well, how do
it's hard to set a goal for in a realm that you don't know what exists in, or like how to set the goal.
For sure.
Absolutely, very much so.
But I think like back to our goals before, like I think for me it's just the discipline.
For
like
sure.
That's what I've noticed, the no fat, the no weed, the ice bars, those little things. Keep doing those every day, and I get better and better at kind of deciding what my goals want to be, or
for sure,
just staying consistent.
Yeah. Helps you reflect on things.
Yeah.
I
think it takes a little bit of that like mental capacity out of like you're not, if you have that routine set up every single day, you're not trying to decide like, you know, what things am I going to do today? You know what I mean? If you've got that routine set out,
very much so.
And then that's a whole bunch of like like that mental capacity that you have to decide other things.
And I've noticed it helps too, like that you get that routine set up. So let's say you're 40, 50 days into that one routine.
Yeah.
Like the other morning I didn't want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
But because it was so routine, my legs just walked me in.
Yeah.
Mentally, I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
But I knew I needed to get it done and how I was going to feel afterwards.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do it. My legs just walked me in because it was just a routine.
Yeah.
And I knew like, okay, if I do this, hit the ice bath, get to the gym, have the meal after work, before work, get to work, have another meal, get all those things, then it was just going to work out.
Yep.
But if I skip one, and then it just fails.
Yeah. For a long time, I struggled with defining goals, both fitness, because I started as quite a small lad, defining goals for that. Real small. Defining goals for fitness, but also defining goals financially. Mm-hmm. Weirdly, they both like share a lot of similarities as they come through, because fitness still has quite an expense to it. Though people are like, oh, it's just a membership or it's just a run, but it's not. It's shoes, it's upkeep, it's food in, it's food out, it's fucking other things in it. Anyway, so like because of that, I had this like, how do you say it? I felt like I was being overwhelmed with wanting to save money but wanting to grow, which those two things generally don't fucking line up. It's one or the other. One grows, the other one goes down. It's a hard one to do. But I found the best way was like finding what one I hated the most, which was food. I hated cooking. I hated because it's an expense. It's a time expense as well, which then starts taking away whatever shit I had when I would come home. You have a shit day at work, the gym, you go and beat yourself there, and then you got to come home and cook a steak or something. Oh, Jesus, what a drag.
Not a chance. You get Macca's on the way home
sure. And then you can slip as something that I know that like you deal with as well. You can slip so easily. And then what's the fucking point? So then once I started to do meal prep, and that, not only did it free up heaps of time in the afternoon of every single day for me except for one a fortnight, started to learn a little bit more about the food, started to enjoy it a little more, hated it to begin with because you cook like shit generally to begin with. But it's one of those things, if you give up right now when you try it once, of course it's going to be a failure. But like keep at it. And then you start to love the food. You start to get how you can structure it to be as beneficial and as minimalistic as a tax for you to like move through it. And like now you look at my fridge, I have 100 burritos in my fridge, man. Hey, and you've had them, they're fucking slap.
Oh, they're delicious.
But it like helped me save money, helped me save time, and helped me push forward for like goals. And it's something weird. It's not saying that like, how are you trying to buy a house? Because I'm making burritos. weirdly, right? But at $3 a burrito as it comes out to be, and then I can have my whole food bill cut down to be $100 a week for like over for two people for 7 days.
Yeah,
that's nothing, man.
Yeah.
And I think it helps too. Once you stay consistent with the food, you start to see results, right, in your physique.
Yeah.
So you get 2-3 weeks of doing it, and you're like, oh, this is actually working.
Yep.
And so it wants you to keep doing it.
Yeah. You mentioned as well when we went to Threadbow, and it kind of like broke that routine for you.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And your energy levels, like not having that consistent food where we're just kind of like eating random stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like we went to Threadbow like 6 or 7 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
I've only just recovered. Hey, that threw me. That was so hard. That disruption of routine killed me.
That took a little bit for me to bounce back. And it's interesting that, like, as we see it from both, like, very much action sports and very much, like, physical bodybuilding and so on, from that, is that it is a common ground of both. Is that you're... And I forgot how heavy that affected me at Threadbow because I was so used... Oh, yeah. I remember talking to you being like, I hate this shit, man. And I was transparent with you too and was like, I'm not having a good time. It's because I was so used to having a structured fuel in and operating at a degree of high intensity, whether that be just like how my body functions, of like my base metabolic and stuff. It has to burn this shit. And I was like, everything was so fine-tuned to be at that level. So even when we would ride, we'd go on Wednesdays and we would like grab a snack on Wednesdays. That was tuned into my diet to be like, that is my excess fuel to expend tonight. And then that shit the bed when we drove down to Threadbow and we're there and ate nothing but fucking pizzas constantly.
Well, it's not just what you're putting in. It's also mentally because it's screwing up your routine.
Oh,
so then you're beating yourself
wrecked
up.
us both.
Because you're like, fuck, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I've wrecked my whole routine. I've been like this for a month now. It's so good, and all of a sudden I've slipped.
Yeah.
I was like 50 odd days into 75 hard as well.
Oh yeah, you were having a bad time.
It was brutal.
It was not a good time for both of us.
Trying to get like 2 walks in. I started just chucking Strava on while we were walking up and down the hill to get my workouts in. But like,
wild. Yeah.
It was so hard.
Yeah. And then like lack of sleep as well.
Yeah.
Sleep's always been a struggle for me.
Yeah.
I've just always struggled with it. Happy to go into it on another one because I'll easily pass back the time cap if I go into it. But sleep really affected me at Threadbow as well.
Yeah, yeah. And just sleeping in a weird fucking room. Like just
sleeping in a fucking cot.
Yeah. Naked together.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, weird.
Bunk beds, mate. A spoon probably would have been better, to be honest.
Yeah.
It would have been a little comforting. But yeah, it was Jack getting in and out of this bed. We're going to derail
creaky and shit?
Oh, dude.
Oh, he made sure it was.
You asshole.
Oh, man. But
terrible.
to be fair, my legs were sticking out the end of it like this. He had to dodge my dogs as he was coming down. But no, I sometimes find it really hard. I'm just going to pull us back on here.
Yeah, yes.
I find it hard sometimes, like really hard to like lay goals because I love a sporadic goal. I love like, right, so like I'm doing the mobile app, right? Like I want to make a game, and that's like fully just for me. I've always wanted to do something like that. Sleeper, the launch of that, like, you know, that's beautiful. It's got goals in it. It's not super time intensive as like the app is, but it's still heavy for it. And then the pod itself, and then we got gym where we've got like trying to push at work, which is a goal. Everyone should have goals at work. If not, sort your fucking life out. And then so you got that, but then I just love like, let's just throw something big in the mix. Like randomly, I'll just be like, fucking have this, man. Let's just start downhill. Yeah, let's take up an entire fucking sport.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that because I feel like sometimes I'm the person that sort of needs that distraction because I'll start to hit a point where these are starting to like they're annoying me, and I get frustrated easy on little things here, and I'll start to get to a point where like I need to learn better to better achieve some of these goals because a few of them are quite a reach for me. And then so I'm like, right, I need like a fun goal, like a relaxed goal.
Need a side quest.
Exactly. Something that still has...
He's a bard.
Mate. Something that still has like a point to it and you're going to do something. It's still physical. It's still in the realm of like writing and all that stuff. I still get to tinker. I still get to break and I still get to spend stupid money on shit I shouldn't. But it's then letting me calm down and breathe on the things that like the real important things that I'm trying to drive on.
It's funny, as you were saying that,
I
noticed a bunch of fear actually come up within me.
What with?
When you were talking about like setting just like sporadic goals, and you're talking about sleeper, and then I instantly thought about starting my own clothes. Then you brought out what else did you bring up then?
Oh shit, heaps of stuff.
Well, everything you brought up,
the podcast,
everything you brought up, it literally shot fear like straight in me, and I was like, just sitting there listening to you, like, why am I feeling?
Yeah.
And then I realized it's like I don't have that sense, but I think it's because I feel like I don't really know where to begin.
Yeah.
Bam. Yeah.
For sure.
So common.
So the other night when you were showing us your game and you had all of the
stupid code, don't crash.
All the code.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you even know where to begin here?
And so this is a great example. Sorry, this is a great example of like social media. Is you come in and you seen someone that already had something made. I'll record a video when I'm doing that and something doesn't work and I am screaming at the shit. And like, I can't say it on camera. I said I wouldn't have flare-ups, but like it's wild, man. Like it's
but like even the shirt thing. I'm like, I have so many ideas fashion-wise, but where do I even begin to start that?
Yeah. But that's common as shit, man, because I had that for ages, and it was Jack that was like, do something, you bitch. And like Jack had done. See, what's interesting is sleeper to me was something I always want to do, like some sort of fashion, because for the most part, I hate gym fashion, right? For my body.
This is why we're friends.
That's right. So for that, I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but didn't know where to start. But Jack had done so much in a different realm, and the byproduct of that was apparel. Correct me if I'm wrong at any point here. And the byproduct of that was apparel. So to him, he was like, that's the stupid side thing that you have to do to sell the other thing. To me, that was the main thing.
The whole thing.
And it was weird that like, I would never have started if it wasn't for Jack. He sat down one day, he was like, there you go, it's done, that's it. And I was like, oh shit, that's wild. And like, I spoke to everyone about it, inflate the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
But to me, that was the super hard part. And then like it's weird of the things that we all add weight to and like you just got to talk sometimes to be like, hey, I want to do like, it's hard. You sort of don't want to mention your goals all the time.
No,
and it's
you
good
don't.
to keep shit to the chest.
Yeah.
But like at the same point, if I didn't, choose who you speak to, I guess, is the proper way.
You got to make sure the energy you're putting out is to the right people, because some will just drain you of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And others will actually give back to that as well and fill your cup up and not just empty it.
Yeah, very much so.
But I was just thinking then too, like it's when you don't know how to do something, it's like, how do you even begin to start it? It's that fear of, it's like you're at school again and they're trying to teach you a new way of math. And like, well, I don't know.
So I think, because I've obviously done like quite a lot of business stuff in the past. So that's where I guess those micro goals come into it for me. Because I get like that where I'm just like, I have this vision, but like, where do I start? And then so you just start writing down like things that you need to do to get there. And there might be like super obvious things. It's like, right, I want to start a clothing company.
But how do you know what to write down to get there?
Well, just for example, you want to start a clothing company. T-shirts is usually the first thing you're going to do for clothing, because that's like your staple, right?
Yeah.
So find a shirt that you like. Find a printer that you like. Do you know, like that? They're super big, obvious things, and there's going to be like smaller steps below that. But are you going to do the artwork? Are you going to get someone to do artwork for you? There's like, I guess, breaking it down into those kind of micro things that you can tick off of like,
super interesting. I have such a good point.
So like there's there's like 5 categories.
Yeah.
But then when you break down those 5 categories, there's like 10 categories inside of those 5 categories.
For sure.
I see
that you have to do.
Because now I've seen both sides of this. This is what I meant when I was like, Jack was like, it's the byproduct. He was like, find a supplier. How the fuck? How does that happen? And I see, this is great. I see both of you at this point. Because now I'm like, go. I know where
just go and
suppliers
find it. Just go and find a supplier. Like,
absolutely.
But it is also, you can just Google like blank wholesale T-shirts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, everyone uses AS color, so just do that.
Find a print shop.
Yeah.
Find yourself a shop that you want to work with, and then I reckon that very much like tattoos. Correct me if any point I'm wrong on this. is like a tattoo. You find an artist that you want to work with and you like their style and you're like, sweet, what can we work together to make a thing?
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
and so like we have spoke to multiple different people now with Sleeper, and then started speaking with the print studio who done the last run of shirts with us. Beautiful. They're so nice to speak to.
Yep.
Pardon me. I think it's David is upstairs. I hope that's not wrong. Or if it is, I hope he never sees it. But such a cool guy.
Yep.
And just is across it all together.
Yeah.
Like he done,
that's you want people that you want to work with. Like
That's
you don't
right.
you don't want to be a hassle when you're like, oh, we need to do another run of shirts. Fuck, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Like,
This is going to be a hassle. Or if something's wrong, you don't want to be like, oh, geez, I have to fucking go deal with this because it's wrong. Or you just like won't go back to it.
Yeah.
I
which
feel
is
like
another thing.
I got a lot of interest there because I'm like doing with the graffiti background and my art side as well. I'm like, oh, I could really experiment here and create something. You know,
the first thing I would find a studio that you want to work with, or like some sort of printer or something like that. Especially if you know what, like if you want to do embroidery, if you want to do like a screen print, or whatever it is, like go with, if you want to do like graffiti background, it'd probably be DTF. But like you want to go, like find your like printer or the company you want to work with, and then just go be like, I want to do a sample.
But what I'm thinking is because I have so many different examples of shirts and clothing from different companies, it's like I know I need to start at this one category.
Yeah.
But I want to start at this certain category. So how do I skip all of this and start here?
I don't think you can skip anything.
No.
Don't skip anything.
Like instead of like, because for example, like how do I don't use an AS color, but then find a company that is the same kind of fabric as the LSKD stretchy shirts and start there?
Right. So
because bringing out just a basic shirt like an AS color, that to me is like.
Have you Googled who does LSKD use?
No, I've actually thought about asking Jason.
You
but
work there. Just be like, hey, but who do you use for your blanks?
Yeah, but
they wouldn't be blanks like we're doing. They'd be getting full manufactured stuff.
Yeah.
So,
they're
also, there's a million motherfuckers on Instagram that are like
stretchy fit for sure.
Yeah, well, but also I've sent
I've seen so many.
This dude, I don't know. I would say who he is, but I don't know who he is. On Instagram.
Shout out.
Shout out that guy.
Shout out that guy.
Where like, I literally saw one of his today is like, this is who makes all of Stussie's clothing. They have their minimum order quantities 50. Here's all their contact detail. They do all custom shit. Fucking go nuts.
Right.
Yeah. And sorry, I had to move then and I started talking. And like, what's been good from that is Jack will send that out. And then all you got to do is just scroll a little bit from there, like that shit, and then your algorithm's going to start feeding you other stuff like that. And there's so many people out there that are willing to, like, their profiles and their
sharing all that
their
stuff.
brand is sharing brands, which is such a cool concept as well.
Yeah.
Because really, you're just talking about other people's stuff. Brilliant.
But then you feel like I'm sitting here thinking like, well, I'm not in the position to do all that. But then I'm like, the other side of my brain's like, do it, you bitch.
Yeah, imposter syndrome.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck, he'll
and
talk
I'm like,
on that.
well, okay, I don't have this much money in the bank saved to just go and do this.
Sweet. So now your list is made.
But I'm just like, well,
Can you see your list?
Yeah. So your list is forming.
Yeah.
How much money do I need to get it started? I have this much saved. What kind of blank do I want to use?
Yeah.
If you don't want to do the generic AS color, sweet. That you now know that's not a thing. Find another supplier.
Yeah.
Find someone who does more of like an activewear thing. Find a print shop that you want to work with.
What type of print do you want to go?
Yeah.
Also will affect your first goal of how much money do I have to spend on this? How much expendable money can I throw at this and want no return?
Yeah.
Which is a big thing that no one talks about. But
100%. It's like investing in anything, really. It's like how much money am I willing to spend and get $0 back?
Yeah, that's my next thought. It's like, am I doing this to chase money, or am I doing this because I actually want to just have a clothing brand?
One of them is the right answer.
Exactly.
I think one of them hurts.
Because I know you can do it either way.
Yeah, very much so.
But the way you do it will be different.
Yeah.
And I think maybe not always, but I think potentially your long-term success is going to be greater if you're doing it because you want to do it.
Do you want to have fun, or do you potentially want to make money?
Yeah.
I want to have fun, but I'm thinking I want to set myself up.
Yeah.
Like I've seen,
That's going to be real hard.
I've seen where my family has come from. I've
Yeah.
seen what they're like with family. I've seen it repeat in myself.
Yeah.
And I see this cycle repeated from my dad's side, my mum's side, from their side, and I'm like, if I don't learn anything now, if I don't push myself to do it, I'm just going to repeat this cycle that they are repeating.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have kids and be repeating this cycle.
Yeah.
And not being able to provide and do everything for them and be the best I can be for them. I want to create something.
Do you see that your second list has now been made?
No.
So now you have
so many things.
Now you have the bigger list of like, what are you trying to achieve? What are the goals? What are the fun goals? And then what are your right now goals? So that you're building this list. Weirdly, this is so.
I like how this has turned into a mentoring.
This
program.
is like,
well, you know, we started to talk about goals. All of a sudden, we're back to.
But we're back into that
we
goal
all just
list.
moved again.
Yeah.
The dogs are wanting to come out.
The dog, they're barking. Cut that out. Cut all of that out.
I do a great bark.
Stop touching your mic.
Sorry, I just feel like I can't.
But holy shit, we're getting back on track. Cut all this out. But so like, right, so you have your bigger goals of what you want to achieve, and then you have like those little ones in there, and then like subsections of those in there. But I like strongly recommend write shit down.
Yeah, 100%.
I am the biggest victim to, I'll remember that. I don't need to write it down.
Yeah.
Never.
Fucking idiot. How do I remember that I won't remember it and I should write it down, but I still tell myself I'll be fine every time?
You know,
Wanker.
a weird thing I do.
Not talking to the mic.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll if I want to remember something, I can't remember how many times it's actually worked as well. But like, I'll physically hurt myself. Like, I'll pinch myself incredibly hard, or I'll do something that like causes me pain. I'll be like, I'll remember that, and I'm like.
You know, there's also an app on your phone called Notes.
Dude,
write stuff in it.
Dude hates pencils. Hey, imagine hating writing so much you're willing to hurt yourself before it.
But I do so much writing. I know it works, but then I'm like, I just don't do it.
So depends on shit, hey, and apps and stuff. Yeah. But that's cool. That's cool.
Well, I mean, I'm so good at my gym progress.
Yeah.
We can sit here and look at.
We should have him pinch himself every time he doesn't talk into the mic.
Fuck.
But on that. Yeah. So good. So you have an example of you doing it once.
Do it everywhere.
Every time.
Yeah.
There's your discipline.
And I was going to say another part of my discipline.
Exactly. But it's a small one that starts, but I've seen Jack's lists and they're fucking... I mean, Sleeper's list is a beautiful one that he's got like sectioned out. Amazing. Heaps good. Definitely something that like I take from Jack of like, I need to be better at this and so on. But like for the shirts and stuff and like where to start, man, there's so many places to go to. Once you start, it feels like you're nowhere, and then once you start, you realize you are surrounded by everything. It's just one of those like fear to start things.
Yeah, it is too. And like I was on Gymshark before, like, and I'm putting stuff in my cart, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize they make these now, and it's half the things that they're making. I've cut up my own clothes to make.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, if I make it, I'm just copying.
But you're not.
You're doing your own thing. How do I?
So here's the thing that I have kind of come across semi-recently, I guess. Like, it's because that's always a thing in business. It's always like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like, well, I can't do an energy drink. How many people do energy drinks? Or, you know, I can't do cut off fucking gym shirts.
Yeah.
How many people make that? Everyone makes everything. So basically anything.
And that's how we get better, right? That's how all the companies get better, because one person makes it, and then person
everyone else makes it.
And the next person wants to make it better.
Everything that exists is just a combination of two other things.
What do you mean?
So
a shirt is just a combination of color and fabric, and then everyone else makes fabric. Other people make colors on that list. Is that what you mean? Like everything already exists in a form?
To an extent. So like, I'll try and use LSKD for example. I don't know if this is going to work very well or not.
Oh, I hope you fuck it up.
But so gym wear already exists.
Yeah.
Streetwear already exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a combination of two other things.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I was thinking about that today. Like
I was being far too literal.
they were.
Yeah. It's like conceptually, I think like it's, like how many other companies have made leggings
Yeah.
before LSKD ever made leggings? How many other companies?
Yeah,
the Lorna Jane, the like Nike,
Gymshark.
How many people
Athlete.
have made a big shirt, and yet so many people, man, have been like, tell me when it's coming, I'll buy a shirt. As soon as Super drops, I'll get a shirt off you.
Yeah.
Heaps of it, to the point that our like start, we were like, yeah, we'll start with 30, and now we're like, no, we're going to start with 100.
Yeah.
And that is climbing, man. Who fucking cares? At the end of the day, you got to do what you want to do. You want to make a gym shirt that you want to wear and be happy with what you've done.
It's so weird you say that, because that who fucking cares mentality has.
I still do. I'm on like my fourth.
You want to know who cares? That cunt.
I'd give so many fucks. Too many.
But like I'm saying, like it's leaked. It used to leak out into so many things, and it even happened today. You know, I wore my tight green shirt. You know what I'm like at the gym.
Yeah.
I do not want to wear a singlet or anything that shows any part of me, because I was like, I cannot get my physique out because I don't believe I look like I should be.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
But recently, I've been wearing tighter things, which have then gave me confidence to put the fits together that I actually like to wear.
Yeah.
And today, like I wore my hoodie over it, little zip up, and I'm like, I got a mad pump on, and there was people all around me, some attractive women, some huge men, and I'm like, fuck it. They're just people. They're all here to train.
Who gives a shit?
Why should I have to...
And they're all self-conscious as well.
Why should I have to change my way of life depending on what I may think that they're thinking of me? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, why can't I have that mentality when it comes to everything else?
Yeah. It's funny.
It's a muscle.
Yeah. It's funny because I've had it, but like arguably my strong point is being like, I don't fucking care. I'm so good at not giving a fuck about most things. Some things, far too many fucks. But I've had both of yous come to me and been like, I'm not sure about this. I'm struggling with this. I reckon I could find a message from you so quick being like, not sure on this. I'm like, fucking send it, bro. Send it. I've said the same shit to you. Send it.
There's one in particular that fucking annoyed the shit out of me because I just wasn't expecting it. You know, I came to you. It was about mum and dad.
Yeah.
It was about mum.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing the right thing by just cutting it all off. And then all of a sudden I get a message of you saying, no, take it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because all the conversations we've had in the past has just been like, no, do it your fucking self.
Yeah. And
so I was in such that mentality of doing it myself. I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
And then you throw that at me and I'm like...
You were going to drown yourself.
But then you put it in a way that I was like... That makes complete sense. Yeah. But I was just so thrown because of how all our other conversations were going.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't expecting. You're like, bang. And I'm like...
Because it can become super toxic of the, fuck, I don't care, do it yourself, all that shit. And in that scenario, which we can touch on at another time if you ever want to share that, is that like you were going to drown yourself in the I'm too, fuck, I'm better than this, or fuck them, I don't need that. When in actual fact... it was going to benefit you in a long way for it. But like sometimes you can get so wrapped up in this, like, I don't fucking need that, blah, blah. I think you see it heaps in writing.
Yeah.
Of like, especially like younger people coming up, man, you'll see it at the parks and shit, them being like, I have such a good example. I'm not going to throw out. But
it's not Purple Man, is it?
No, fuck Purple Man. A different one. Once the mics stop, I'll name drop. Fuck him. But very much like, you don't, fuck them, don't need that.
Yeah,
but they could do everything with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Want to be in that industry, but then like what? Put your fucking hand up. It's okay to be like, help me, come with me, do this stuff. You're still doing it on your own. No one's riding your fucking bike for you. No one's going to the gym for you. No one's feeding you, though that would be sick. But like, no one's doing this shit. You're still doing it yourself, but you don't have to fucking sacrifice your own forward trajectory, your goals, your anything, your love for the industry in either aspect of this, just to be a spiteful dick about things. Like, it's so easy to like tip.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm almost on the opposite end of that, where like I I kind of get frozen on giving a fuck about what
Yeah,
people
100%.
think.
I don't think I've ever seen you go the opposite way, to be honest.
I'm more often than not the other direction of
Yeah.
like stressing about. I have this weird thing of like looking like a dickhead in front of people.
Yeah, I understand that.
Do you think that maybe stems from something a little bit deeper though?
I don't know.
Because it all usually stems from something childhood related. And that's a whole nother conversation we can go down.
Shit,
but
we do not. We don't have enough memory on either of these SD cards.
Not that I can think of like immediately. I don't really have an answer for it. But yeah, that's for some reason something that that I have a lot of is like giving a fuck about what other people think.
Yeah.
Looking stupid in front of people.
Yeah.
I think maybe like just from kids being fucking mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it happens, but it happens.
fuck yeah.
So
I was bullied like a motherfucker.
oh dude.
Self-love, I think we can kind of relate to that. I think that's maybe where it kind of stems from a little bit, that you don't have that self-love as much as maybe you'd like to think.
Yeah, to a degree, for sure.
You do.
Yeah.
You also have like been at such a high pedigree so quickly and so early in your life that like anything we've spoke about this about like dirt bikes and stuff
I have
like
another
that.
thing in a moment, but yeah.
Coming back from that is like you feel like you're sort of missing out or you don't belong because you've always been that person. So like when you try a new hobby or a new anything and you're no longer that person, you're back to being a freshie.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, do I not belong here? But like
You keep
no one
yourself-
belonged to begin with. Hey?
Yeah, you're keeping yourself at such
Yeah.
a high standard.
Yeah,
that when
I think maybe part of this as well, the thing I just thought of. So when I started my first business, I was 17.
Yeah.
And that was like, I was working for myself full time
Yeah.
at 17. And like trying to do business with people as a 17-year-old,
So hard.
very hard. Like people just being like, this fucking kid with
It's
his
a
laptop.
child, yeah.
yeah.
And
Like a teeny bopper.
yeah, I think yeah, potentially that has a bit to do with it, with like people not taking me seriously because I was so young. I kind of feel like that kid still, I guess, where I'm like, well, anything I do, no one's going to take it serious because I'm just like this kid, but 26 now. Like, it's fucking sorted out.
But like it doesn't, it still
Still
sits
looks
with you.
12.
Motherfucker.
Don't grow a beard.
Yeah.
I feel you and I are very good at balancing one another for that, is because you're likely to go to the freeze and I'm likely to go to the sabotage.
Yeah.
So like we have this nice little like blend forwards as we go through
for sure.
shit.
Yeah.
And both happy to call each other dumb cunts at
Yeah.
times too. So that helps.
You
got
need
to.
that.
Dude.
Absolutely.
Need that. I would rather have 2-3 friends
Yeah.
who tell me the absolute truth
Yeah.
than
For
have
sure.
10-15 friends who are going to lie to me.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've realized this year is the friends that have lying to me, I have completely
They'll tell you what
distanced
you want to
myself.
hear.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear the
it's not
real
a-
shit.
Yeah.
Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
You're great at that. I don't like. I'm not going to take it to heart because if I want it, I'm going to give that back to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
It's
like,
not personal. I want you to be better.
yeah, for sure.
And I know you're doing it to me because you want me to be better.
Yeah.
I bet Jack has an example of me
Yeah.
real quick.
That's literally after the last test run we did on the podcast and Alex posted that photo. I fucking blew him up. I was
Straight
like,
away, man.
we need
Straight
to
away.
sort your social presence out right the fuck
Oh
now.
man.
Yeah, come on, Weevil.
Yeah.
Oh man, it makes me so happy to like cook him up a bit too. So I'm just like hanging out in bed being like, oh, it's pretty good, but no one did. Well, like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's right.
You need those people, though. You
Yeah,
can't
for
have these
sure.
people keep blowing wind up your skirt.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need honest, raw friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That's all I want is honesty.
yeah,
Tell me I'm being a shit cunt when I'm being a shit cunt.
yeah. Yeah, and maybe sometimes even when you're not, just to keep you humble, right?
Absolutely.
Keep you grounded. I find so my like two things are just people in general that I need around me. One, people that clap for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And just straight up, like, honest people say, man, like, you know, like even something as small as like you got something in your teeth, you have food on you, or you stink. Something just chill.
Just looking out for you.
Just be like, hey, bruh, correct it.
Here's some
just
smells,
slightly,
bro. Here
whatever
you
it
go.
is, yeah. And like, again, like I feel like writing, you get it sometimes. You get some degrees of honesty with it, which is cool in it as well. Also get heaps of fucking fake, but so much shit, man.
Having friends that can clap for you and be happy for you when they're in the mud.
Man.
I feel like that's a thing that I've only kind of learnt kind of recently in my life is like clapping for other people.
Yeah.
Hey, is that like, especially when I was younger, I was always the kid that was like, obviously like started a business super early, was like always doing all this shit, and I would be like, no one's clapping for me. It's like, I'm not clapping for any other motherfucker. Why would they clap back?
I've heard you say that to me.
Yeah.
We left the village once, and Jack was like, why doesn't that person talk to me? And then before I could say anything, he's like, I don't talk to him actually. So like that probably, I was like, that's fucking probably why. But hey,
Yeah,
you put out what you get back. What
very
you put
much
out,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Weirdly, this is sort of off, but like I love to bring him up when I talk about clapping for other people. There's a dude that started off as just like a random person that rode when Jack and I started going to the village, and the village was super intimidating, especially on Wednesdays. Every person is so good there, man. Even the worst was still 10 times better than Jack and I. This dude named Hitchy.
Yeah.
Fucking Joel, man, is just, and like he wouldn't talk to you really. Like he would be like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" Yeah. He'd be somewhere on the other side of the park, and you would fall over doing the most trivial trick, and then he would come up to you at the end and be like, "Oh, you've seen you working on it, you're doing good." And then the next session or something, you'd land it, and you would hear him like call out from the other side and be like, "Yeah, well done." Like was just, and at that you like immediately he would make you feel like calm in it. And definitely something I took from that was like, I've got to do this to everyone now, like because all situations suck if you feel uncomfortable in it. Like no matter what it is.
One of my favorite things to do is when I'm in the gym, and it's harder to do with women because it's a little bit harder to approach because you can't always feel like they think
you're going to get called out on TikTok.
That guy,
or you think that they think you're maybe trying to hit on them. So I try and stay away from that unless it's really, really necessary.
Yeah.
But if I see a dude who's about to lift some heavy ass weight, squat, bench, dumbbells, whatever it is, I will get his eye contact and be like, "Do you need a spot?"
Yeah.
Or if I see him struggling halfway through the set, I will go over there and put my hands under him and get him that 2-3 extra set.
Just chill with it.
We don't even need to talk afterwards. We just look at each other and go,
"Yeah,"
and you walk off.
I once got stuck under the bar as like we've all been there.
Yeah.
Got stuck under the bar, and a dude. This is years ago, and a dude come and like helped it off me, and then just walked away.
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh, thank God," because then I don't have the embarrassment of being like, "Oh yeah, I'm a little bitch," and so on from that. And then that's now something I've done. If I have to help anyone for anything, get it up, you're good. Let us know when you're going again. I'll spot you, and then just walk away. Just don't hang out there and let people.
You don't have to be mates. You go over there, you help them out.
Yeah. On that approaching, there was a lady at the gym that was trying very well, but her form was compromising, right? As to be as political as possible. And I was like, I want to go over and say something just because I don't want anyone to hurt themselves, especially new people, because if you write it off, then you're not going to enjoy it. And then you're going to like disappear with it. You're not going to come back. And I want, again, going back to clapping, I want people to get in there and have a go. I want people to better themselves however they want to do it.
Yep.
They're choosing the gym. Let's go. And how I approach it, I'd go over there immediately and be like, "Oh, how you vibing that?" Straight up be like, "Yeah, so my partner, like when she does it, she sometimes feels it," and just like quickly be like, I have a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I'm gay. My boyfriend doesn't like, I don't give a fuck, man. I'm an alien.
I'll
just shut up, please don't hurt your fucking self.
Don't
and so
snap your spine.
And so that's all. And so I'd be like, "Yeah, so my partner, when she does it, she felt a bit weird there, has tried moving in this way, or like hinging from this, or not just straight up lifting with your back." Oh mate. Anyway, and like
you got real deep into the mic when you said that.
Just because it happened 2 days ago. Anyway, and so like you disarm it in that sense, because I find it can be super hard to approach.
It can.
It's sorts.
So hard because I've looked at so many women and been like, "You were doing those hip thrusts terribly."
Yeah.
So wrong. Or doing a lat pull down and you go into the belly button and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Trying to muscle up it.
Yeah. I'm like, "Bruh, what are you doing, brother?" But the fear of, I'm like, if I go over there, she's going to think I'm trying to hit on her.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's the worst.
It's a weird
sucks.
one, hey?
Yeah.
That's not my intentions at all.
Nah.
I just need to get a sick pump.
Yeah. Before we start wrapping this up, is definitely this. I wanna have a check in with you about your lists. I want to see you start
making some lists.
Find the goal you want. If it is shirt, if it is anything, right? Whatever it is, at least start a list with the title shirts or something. Do something, and I want to see it. Look at CJ Thoughts, man. You were like, "Oh, I want to do that," and then it popped. Like you're doing good with it, man.
Yeah, I'm getting more and more confident with it.
So
The
that's
more I do
arguably
it.
all it is, man. Is just being comfortable in it.
Everything is reps, hey.
Yeah.
Everything. This.
Everything is so relatable back to the gym.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everything is rep. Well, and I find that with me trying to do my personal content on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is like so uncomfortable with it. I still get uncomfortable when I try and do new stuff. I get uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Not that comfortable.
No, that's uncomfortable for sure. Yeah.
I'll just get me. Discard.
Yeah.
It just goes back to putting the reps in, hey. Like
Yeah.
with anything. It's like with riding, with the gym obviously is like super literal.
Yeah.
With like getting confidence for stuff with this. Like
Yeah.
this is not the first time we've done this.
Yeah. The fuck, this cunt blowing up like he reckons he's got a social media. Fucking Jesus Christ, cunt. What a weirdo.
What a fucking tosser.
Man, it's wild that he has the ability to take a photo without looking but can't talk into the fucking mic when he's staring right at it, hey.
Yeah.
What a bitch ass.
Bitch ass.
But you're right. I want to see you
No,
fucking the
not
attention of a fucking child.
I can do two things at once.
You can't go. Yeah, so listen with both ears then. You fucking dick. I want to see. Man, this is something we'll talk about at another time too. As soon as something gets real, how quick you start to like check out and make it a fun thing. I'm real bad for this, hey. If something gets uncomfortable with me, I start to make jokes about it to try and alleviate the situation.
Oh, yeah.
Just disarm it straight
like
away.
Yeah, try and disarm it.
Yeah.
Almost like the same way when I was like, I want to see your list. I want to see you start trying to put shit down. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to just divert into something that's more comfortable.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I did that. Wow.
Stop touching your fucking mic.
I'm doing
But
it
yeah,
down.
and so like, and a great example is just then is that like, as soon as you got yourself into an uncomfortable spot or you were put in an uncomfortable spot, you then diverted to something else.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But this has been good. I've enjoyed this. This has been a good chat.
Mm.
For sure. I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap up.
Yeah, 100%. Before we need to feed him or something, he's getting distracted.
Yeah.
But appreciate you talking with us. Appreciate
What's your Instagram things? You got CJ's thoughts?
Yeah, yes. See, let me have a look.
He doesn't even know his own
Doesn't
handle.
know his own.
Jesus.
You can find me at sleeper_Alex.
Yeah, Weevil, Bevan, Cockhead. So we got CJ's thoughts.
That's a paid subscription, that one. Yeah, go, sorry.
CJ's thoughts and Casey Phillips _ Casey_Phillips.
That was Phillips, if anyone ever
Phillips.
missed that. But yeah, no, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, yeah. Don't be silly, Rappy Willie.
I'm so glad that was at the end.
That was real stupid, hey?
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, talking about wrapping it up.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
All right.